Welcome to the Deborah Kennedy Show. Three of my favorite words are empathy, compassion, and opportunity. Tonight I have two very special guests that are actually very, very best friends that I've known for a very long time. And they have such a touching story to tell that we want to share it with you, our audience. Josh Meeks.
Hello.
Scott Cooper. It's so good to have you on the set tonight.
It's amazing to be here.
We have known each other for a long time.
A long time.
A long time. A long time, which is great. We have history together.
Absolutely.
I started out first at, you were my agent, my daughter's agent, still my agent. But you do so many things. But the most important thing that I feel that you give back to life is the opportunity you give others, not only through the agencies and the talent, but at home. So walk me through a little bit about the struggles that you two had when you wanted to adopt a child. Scott, let's start with you.
All right. So basically, we just kind of looked at all the different avenues as far as adopting children, and we realized that the path that we wanted to take was really to go through the foster care program, because I feel like a lot of times people spend so much money going to China and going to these foreign countries and bringing children back to the U.S. to adopt. But there, we were in Mecklenburg County, and there, are hundreds of kids in our own county that didn't have homes, didn't have a place to live. And so our ultimate goal, we thought we wanted to adopt, but we wanted to do it through the foster program because we felt like it was important to really do it within our own community versus going out somewhere else.
So I remember in the beginning the struggle that it was, because a lot of people think adoption is so easy. We have all these children that need homes, whether it's foster care or orphanages or all the different modalities of adopting within our states. It wasn't easy.
No. It was a very long process. Mm-hmm. It was, a 2-year process to be exact, from the time we started fostering till adopting. But even before then, it took a year and a half before we ever got a placement into the house too.
Right, because I think that's a process that people don't understand the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are so many children out there that need a loving home.
Mm-hmm.
And you throw into the mix of all the different letters you have to write, the investigations that you have to go through, all the different hoops that you have to jump through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's challenging, but not discouraging, because you have such a good story that we're going to share about,
right.
The life that after you had the children in foster care for how long before you adopted? A year and a half, 2?
2 years.
It was 2 years.
2 years.
And the thing that, it is a process to become a foster parent. So you do go through usually a 10-week period of classes, which I feel like all parents should actually go through these classes.
Absolutely.
Because, I have biological children, and I learned things that I wish I had known with my own children through these classes. And, you learn CPR, all of these skills that you potentially will need as a parent, and then once you do get your certification as a foster parent, then it's kind of a waiting game as to where, we were kind of open to different ages and different races and things like that. Some people are very specific. They want to get a baby. They want, so we were very open to kind of different types of kids, which I think makes it a little bit easier to place in a foster home, but it still took about a year and a half for us actually to get that first call.
So you opened your home and you did foster care and you fell in love with these boys.
Oh, immediately.
Immediately.
Yeah.
So there has to be a moment of, I'm falling in love with these two boys. What if it doesn't work out? Do you just go with the plan and pray that it works out, or do you, because you can't really hold back as a parent, right?
Right.
As a foster parent or parent.
I think we made the conscious decision that when we were bringing anybody into our house, we were going to give them the best life we could provide, whether they were staying or not. If they weren't going to stay, they would still have that memory to look back on and have a great experience. So
Yeah, you have to, if you're a foster parent, you have to look at it as if they are going to be reunited with their family.
Absolutely.
So you want to really give them a lot of encouragement, love, support, because some kids are coming from very bad situations, and so you want them to potentially see what their lives could be like as parents, potentially, and
Absolutely.
and so you have to go into it with that thought in mind. I'm going to give these kids the best experience, whether it's 1 month or 3 years, because and we did go through that. There were many times where you go to court, and there are other family members that potentially are thinking about adopting the kids. Our kids' situation, they both had the same mother, but they had different fathers. But the court, it was very important for them to keep the boys together because they were the two only family they really knew, our consistency. So, it had to be, if it was somebody within their family that adopted, they had to agree to take both children. So, and we are, of course, wanting to give that home to both the brothers, but it's not up to you, honestly. It's up to the court.
Courts. Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to show some wonderful pictures, and we're going to talk about, when we come back, the challenges and the opportunities and the love.
Oh, perfect.
So
Absolutely.
enjoy these fabulous pictures. Now we're back. What amazing pictures. What a story, and what a trajectory of life that they've had. So when I went to break, we were going to say we're going to talk about the challenges and the rewards, opportunities. So what were some of the challenges as parents?
I think that one of the challenges was our oldest, William, was used to being the parent to the youngest.
Yeah.
So a lot of times he was always correcting his younger brother and telling him, and part of our goal was to tell him, you don't have to be a parent anymore. You can be a kid. Let us do that job, and for him to relinquish that was hard. I mean, he was 10,
Absolutely.
right? And
Right.
Cooper was 7 when we got them, but he was so used to
Being the
doing that. Yeah, and I think that we learned a lot as foster parents, because when they first came, we took them to Disney and we took them on a cruise and all of these things.
Yeah.
And then I think that we learned a lot because Cooper, the 7-year-old, at Thanksgiving had to write a paper on the things that he was thankful for. And, we're thinking he's going to put, I went on a cruise and I went to Disney and all these things. And literally he was like, I'm thankful that I have food to eat every day and that I have a bed to sleep in every night. And, so many things that so many families and kids take for granted and don't really think about. And we didn't even think about,
At all.
And so it really humbled us to think, that's what's really important to these kids is the love and the consistency.
Consistency. I think that's so important because you do think you wanted to give them the things that they had not experienced nor would probably ever experience.
Exactly.
But what it came down to was values and nourishment, and love. A home and a loving family that, they had a bed to sleep in at night, food to eat. There also had to be challenges with structure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all of us getting on the same schedule, new routines, little kids in the house now. Like, everything changed.
So structure for everyone.
For everybody.
Not just the boys, but structure for you as well.
Exactly.
Because it had been years, since you had children, small children.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the best part, the rewards. There's so many.
Oh, so many. Too many to list.
But let's start with a few.
Well, they've grown up to be amazing young men, and I don't know where to
So
start.
let's talk about the amazing young men. Tell me what they're doing and how they were able to follow their passion and their dreams.
Well, we wanted to open as many doors for them as possible. So we literally were like, they'd never done sports. They'd never taken a class, anything outside of school. So we were like, choose anything. They went through martial arts. They went through baseball. They went through football. A really close friend of ours worked as a dance teacher at a dance studio, and she got them into dance class. And so they, throughout their school, they were doing several things, but they both ended up really liking dance. And so William, our 21-year-old, is now a junior at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts. He's a contemporary dance major. Our 18-year-old Cooper is now working at the San Francisco Ballet as a trainee there. He actually graduated from their program on full scholarship. And so they're both going into the arts, honestly. And I'm from an arts background, so, I was excited about that. But it really has to be the kids' decision on what they really liked. And they both realized that they made more girlfriends in dance class than they did in football or baseball, right?
Well,
so,
Smart boys.
yeah, and so, and they, boys, there are fewer male dancers, so they're always the center of every number, and they were like, oh, we can get used to this, right? So
We're stars.
Exactly.
so they've done very well.
So I think too, it's like amazing because children, not even adopted children, but children sometimes don't follow their dreams because there's
Exactly.
obstacles. To have two boys that, you love so much and to have all of these opportunities that they would not have had, if you were not their parents, let's be honest. And so their dreams are coming true. And, I know you both so well. And what you have such empathy and compassion, not only are they following their dreams, but they're good kids. They're good
great
people.
kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's on their end, right? I mean, you can give people the tools to be good people, but they have to use those tools, right? So,
Right.
the only thing we can do as parents is to lead people in the right direction. But these boys chose the right direction, right? I mean, they're the ones that took those tools up and the things that they learned, they're practicing those things now. So, everybody says you guys have been such a blessing to their lives, but they've been more of a blessing to us,
ours.
honestly.
Absolutely.
They've really just enriched our lives and made us proud of the men that they've become.
Absolutely.
So we're going to wrap up with there are audience members out there that perhaps considering foster care. So what words of wisdom would you share, and also what would you like them to know about how rewarding it is?
I think for me, keep an open mind and listen, because they're going to tell you what they need and what their wants are.
And I think a lot of times people don't realize the benefits of being a foster parent. I always say, if every family in America would take a foster child that was the same age as their youngest, it's no more years of service. It's just one more mouth to feed. And, all of these kids being shown love and guidance would change the world, honestly, because so many of the problems in society are kids that don't have family, don't have love. And, as foster parents, you're supported by the state. You get a monthly stipend to help you raise these children. All of their medical is taken care of until they're 18. Because we adopted William after he was 12, he got 4 years of in-state college paid for. So there are lots of benefits to families to not go the traditional adoption route, but to go through the foster system. Then they're still supported by the state, and it really makes it worth it.
Well, I'm honored to call you my dear, dear, dear best friends, but I'm also honored to know you and how you give back to not only the boys, but to the community, and you really make a difference. And that's what life is about, making a difference. So thank you so much with your crazy busy schedules for stopping by the set tonight. And I hope that your words have inspired just one person out there to invite the foster care process into their homes and to make a difference.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. Thank you for sharing our story. I appreciate it.
So life is about a story and making a difference. Maybe this has inspired you to look further into foster care because you can be the difference that we need in the world today.
To view this entire episode or to view other past episodes, please visit our podcast site at DeborahKennedyShow.com.
If you are in the fashion, art, or entertainment industry and would like to be a guest on The Deborah Kennedy Show, just go to DeborahKennedyShow.com and you could be a guest just like me.
My very special guest tonight makes dreams come true. I'm so excited to have on the set Miss Nikki Knoblich. I'm so excited to have you, gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
What you do is magical and at times very stressful. There was a movie about it, The Wedding Planner.
Yes. Jennifer Lopez.
Yes, exactly. I love it. So what you do is take the dreams from A to Z and everything in between. And the vision is, of course, the bride's, but the planning is in your capable hands. Tell me how you got started in this industry.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I've always loved being creative. I've always loved design. But I've always also had like a little bit of a business mindset. Like I knew I wanted to do something. So actually when I was planning my wedding, I did my own wedding. And when I was planning my wedding, I had so much fun. Not a single thing was stressful, which people can't believe. They're like, what?
I don't believe it,
everything
Nikki.
was easy. It was easy.
I cannot believe that.
And I had all my friends at the time that they were like, this is so stressful. I'm just ready to get it over with. And I was like, gosh, that is so sad. Like, you should be enjoying this. Like, you should be having the same feeling that I am. And so it was, when that was happening, I was at a turning point in my career. And I don't know, it was almost like this instinctual thing that I just thought, I'm supposed to be a wedding planner. And I told my husband, it was just so crazy. I was like, I think I'm going to do this. Like, I meant to do this. And, the rest is history. I went into it because I wanted to create an experience that was stress-free, that people felt like they could trust me, and they could really enjoy their engagement phase and not feel like it's rushed because it's a short period.
Right.
You're engaged for, maybe a year, sometimes less, sometimes more, but then that's it. And it goes so quickly. So that's what got me started.
So full transparency, I think the weddings of today are based on comparing yourself to your friends and comparing yourself to others, the pictures that we see in magazines.
Yeah.
And so you were planning a wedding that you fully wanted to enjoy. And so everyone wants that moment to capture that moment and make it their own. But oftentimes it's, all about comparing yourself to the other weddings. And I think that's where the adversity comes in and you get stressed out, because you're planning so much and you're putting so much into the special day rather than just enjoying the special day. So I love that. And that's where you can help. You can help take that away.
100%.
100%. So I love that story. And we were chatting on the phone, just getting to know each other. And you were telling me there are so many amazing venues right here in our backyard, and I've not even heard of a lot of them.
Yeah.
Share some of your favorites, Nikki.
Yeah. Okay. So one that is really unique, it's called the Providence Cotton Mill. So if you want something that's got natural architecture, it's just totally different. You feel like maybe you could be in like another world or another country. That one is really, really great. So then we have a newer venue in the area that recently opened. I had the pleasure of doing their grand opening. It's called the Ivory Barn. And what's beautiful about it is, there's so many barns nowadays, obviously. When you hear barn, you think like your traditional barn.
Right.
But the Ivory Barn, it is elevated. She's thought of everything. And so I love it so much. There's also one that's very near and dear to our heart, and it's called Banson Farms. Same thing, you might think of like, the word farm is in the name, but it is so cute and quaint. It's technically more of a smaller venue, but they can accommodate. If you're going to transform the space, they can accommodate a lot. But it's just so unique, and it's just such a fun space. So those are a few of my top. But there's a lot. There's a lot.
Okay, those are a few. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to show a few of these venues and a special wedding day. Then we'll come back with some very important questions for those brides out there. We'll be right back, but enjoy this video.
Tonight, for the first time, officially, as Mr. and Mrs. Brennan Goldsmith, to look around this room and realize that you are surrounded by those family and friends who love you.
And now we're back with Nikki. So that was a beautiful video. What special moments, and so difficult to believe that it's in our back door. It looks like Charlotte is a big city, but girl, you make it look like it's a metropolitan, huge big city. So we talked about the venues, which thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
But we also want to talk about some important details. The number one question is budget. And a lot of wedding planners don't like to share budgets or what it would cost. But I love what you were telling me about the budget. So tell our fabulous audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to budget, I understand it's a very hard conversation to have. And in the initial consults, we say that, hey, you might not fully know, but it's my job to help educate you. So a really great baseline is if you take your guest count and you multiply it times 500, make math easy, 100 people, that's going to be 50,000. Right. That's a good baseline for this area. It's going to get you a lovely wedding, but keep in mind, if you want to, add all the extras you see on Pinterest, you want a custom seating chart, you want a band versus a DJ, it's going to take you higher than that. So that is a very healthy baseline starting point, but then we really discuss based on their needs if we think their budget is realistic or not. We want to be transparent, and we want to set them up for success.
Right, and I love the good rule of thumb, because I think with planning a wedding, for my daughter, that the biggest obstacle was the guest list. Because you can't invite everyone, and you do have a budget.
Yes.
And I do think of everything that we had to encounter, that was the most challenging. And so you're right, you have to know, if you want this elaborate wedding, it's really about you. But then, you also, because by the time you think your guest, the spouses, the fiance's guests, the parents' guests, you've got all those, entwined, and so it can be a big number. So I love that rule of thumb.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, guest count, we tell people, like, if you're going to try to cut your budget, unfortunately, guest count is where you're going to cut it, because there's just not a lot of areas where you're going to have variables you're going to cut that much. Right. You still, got a lot of people that you need food for and drinks for and space for, and so it is really challenging. There's so many decisions, but
I think too, for us, the things that I think were top priority, entertainment, so a band, so that was important. Second was alcohol. Everybody has more fun when there's alcohol, right? So open bar, so you have to budget for that if you have open bar, cut it off at a certain time. And then great food. And then everything else, I think, falls into place. That was us. Everybody's got different needs. Someone else might love florals and exquisite food. Someone else, like, what are some of the requests that you get, that the priorities of, I mean, everyone's different, but tell me some different customers.
We've had actually, there's a lot of people that really want to focus on experience. And so we've talked about what does that mean to them, so some people love the experience of, they want it to feel like a party. So we know we're going to focus then on the entertainment, right? And maybe on the bar. Some people say, hey, I don't really care if people say it's the best party, but I want them to say that was an amazing day. It was an amazing experience. So we focus on the transitions from one thing to the next, the transition of ceremony to cocktail to reception. And what experience do they want their guests to feel? So yeah, I mean, there's just, there's so many different things. It really does depend on the individual. We had someone who, they had a mechanical bull at their wedding.
Oh, I love that, because that's what they wanted. That should be exactly what your day is about.
100%.
What you want. Magical.
Yeah.
And do you feel, since COVID and since life has changed a little, that experiences are more important?
Yes, 100%. We've even had a lot of people that are really interested in like full wedding weekends, where it's not just the day anymore. It's how can we support them the day before? You have your guests are taking so much time to come to your wedding, and they're spending money. So they want to be able to spend that time with them beyond just the wedding day. So we do the day before, we can do the day after with the wedding day and make it a full weekend experience. So everyone just has so much fun.
So Nikki, I love that. The one time that you see a multitude of people that you normally don't see is weddings and funerals, honestly.
I mean,
So I have one last question for you, and I love you. You have to come back. Like, you're so amazing. Given how society has changed and people are getting married later in life, what percentage of your clients pay for their own weddings or pay for a majority of the weddings?
Yes,
parents.
That is a great question. I mean, honestly, I would say there is a good majority of our clients that pay for most of their wedding, if not in full. I would say probably 75 to 80%, and then the other half have some support. So, I love having the conversation on, I know it's not easy to talk about, right? Like, how do you ask if someone's contributing to your wedding? So we have some verbiage that we can recommend on how you can ask that in a nice, polite way that's not asking like, hey, are you going to give me money for my wedding?
Exactly.
But yeah, we see a lot of people that are now really focusing on what they want, and so they're going to take care of their wedding day. It's a little bit easier when you're paying for the whole day to do exactly what you want. So
Exactly. Well, you are amazing. Thank you so much for stopping by the set, and I hope you'll come back.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So Nikki, making every moment magical when it's your special day, stress-free.
If you are in the fashion, art, or entertainment industry and would like to be a guest on The Deborah Kennedy Show, just go to deborahkennedyshow.com and you could be a guest just like me.
To view this entire episode or to view other past episodes, please visit our podcast site at deborahkennedyshow.com. You can view the complete episodes right on the website or subscribe to the show via iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks for watching.